Hello and welcome to RL Podcast, bringing you coverage of every league in English football. Hello and welcome to the RL Podcast. Today we're here to talk about a Premier League debate, if it turns to that. But it's the Jose effect at Tottenham. We're here with a massive Spurs fan and somebody I know deeply in non-league who's signing a book contract soon. So first of all, congratulations, Aaron, on that book success, and thanks for joining me tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm excited to be talking about Spurs and obviously Jose's arrival at the club.
Okay, Aaron, let's speak just pre-Mourinho, shall we say, and the day Pochettino got sacked. Before you knew Jose was coming in and you heard that news about Poch being sacked, what was your immediate reaction?
Obviously, it was sad. The fans have built a great relationship with Poch. Obviously, he loved the club. We loved him, and it was a bit of a shock. No one expected it because I think he had just signed a 3 or 5 year deal. So obviously we were expecting him to be there a lot longer, and I think I saw something that said his contract would just be coming to an end now, after that deal. So yeah, it was a shock, but it was ballsy from Levy because he's never one to spend money to get rid of someone. He would rather obviously someone else pay that money or wait till the contract expires.
Do you think that was a change in mentality due to the new stadium at that point by Levy?
I don't think it was down to the stadium. I think we've not really got over the Champions League loss, and I think that played a big factor. Obviously, we were very lucky to be able to get to the Champions League final. There's no denying there was a lot of luck, and VAR was very much on our side. But to lose the final and be so close to our first trophy in 12 odd years was disappointing. I think that really was the catalyst for the decision, because then obviously going into the last season we found ourselves 14th really early in the season, and I don't think we were ever going to recover from that unless there was obviously a change.
I mean, what really surprised me towards the start of the season with Poch after your Champions League defeat, you could sort of tell there was that disappointment still around the club, because I playing against Tottenham as a West Ham fan is, for me, I always want to beat you, but you also respected Tottenham under Pochettino because, you always played nice, fluent football. And sometimes, you'd have to win ugly, but under Poch, you sort of always seemed to find a way, which was annoying for me being a West Ham fan, but great for the likes of you, Aaron. And towards that last spell of Poch, it's changed. Big players like Eriksen and Ali were getting lazy. Players so vital to his system, and I think you could just tell it was coming to an end under him, and you needed that fresh blood and passion of a Jose-esque manager.
Yeah, definitely. He came in to win trophies. Obviously, every manager comes in to win silverware and be a success at a club, and it had been 5 years and he hadn't won anything. So to lose another final, because obviously he did reach the Carabao Cup final in his first season, what was a massive hit for the club, and obviously the caliber of the Champions League. Everyone wants to win that. It's obviously the most prestigious trophy in club football. I think there was an effect on the club after. Obviously, I think players are giving up on him towards the end, and I think they stopped listening because it had been 5 years without a trophy. So they were thinking, we're going to another season. What's going to change? So I think that was obviously one of the main reasons that he obviously was sacked, and bringing Jose in has obviously changed that mentality.
What was your first feeling when Jose was unveiled as Tottenham's boss?
Shock, I think, first of all. I never expected him to be named. There was obviously rumours he was in the running, but when you think, I mean, I don't want to disrespect the caliber of Spurs, but he's a known winner, and I thought, why would he want to join a club that's struggled to win trophies? So it was shock, but a part of me was very excited because I know what he can bring. But then adding to that, his last spell was at Man United, and they just played really boring football, and their fans absolutely hated him. So there was a bit of worry about what he would bring, but obviously there was obviously excitement for the caliber of manager he is.
Do you think, I remember last season, I think, in my opinion, he had some bad results at home, didn't he, to start off with? However, this season, he hasn't, except from Leicester, I don't think he's had that. Do you think playing behind closed doors has sort of bolstered the Jose effect at Spurs?
Yeah, I think definitely. From what I see when I'm at the ground, obviously, when we don't have the ball and we're just sitting behind, sort of, as people call it, parking the bus, you're screaming at the players to press and have the ball. You want your team to have position. So, I mean, watching on a TV screen is a lot easier to see it working than it would be if you're in the ground. So yeah, I think that has helped his cause, and now people have seen that it works to an extent. Obviously, there's games this season we should have won, but we sat back, and obviously the West Ham draw, Wolves recently. It works against the big clubs, and I think people have seen that, so people are a bit more relaxed. But I mean, we have to sort of change that mentality against the smaller sides, as you would call them, and try and get results, because then I think people will appreciate it once we're back in the stadiums.
When you look at Jose's record at Spurs, which I've got here, I'm pretty sure it's correct. So I was working it out just an hour ago. He's played 40 Premier League games, won 21, drawn 9, and lost 10, and a win percentage of 51.22%. Would you call that success?
I mean, when you look at where we was with Poch at the end, I would say yes, it's successful, because obviously the players are now on board. You can see the desire for them to change their mentality, and obviously we've brought in a lot of these very good players to strengthen the squad. So at the moment, I would say it's success. But if we have another spell where it's 3-4 years down the line and we still haven't won a trophy, that's when, regardless how many games you've won, that's when you start questioning whether it is really a success. But I say at the moment it is, seeing where we were, last season when he came in, and for where we are now.
What has Jose changed the most about the Spurs side?
Well, apart from obviously the signings, I think just the winning mentality. There's games we've won this season where you think last season that probably wouldn't have happened. You look at the 6-1 against Man United, that was an incredible result, which I don't think would have happened under Poch, because we went for the throat of Man United. They were down to 10. We had went 1-0 down. He's brought this winning mentality where you go and dismantle the opposition and you take full advantage, and we did that. So I think mainly the winning mentality, and obviously the interviews after the semi-final win over Brentford, you could see the players believe in what Jose is doing, and they believe he can lead us to a trophy.
Who was Jose's best signing?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Based on the impact they've had, probably Sergio Reguilon. Okay. Obviously, in that position, we only really had Davies, because obviously Rose has been playing with the under-23. So I think he's probably the best signing, because you can see when we score, he's one of those where you say this is what every Spurs fan is like, the way he celebrates and things like that. So I think he's the he's the best signing I think Jose's brought to the club.
I mean, one thing I like about Reguilon is I look at a lot of left backs now, Aaron, that are playing in systems in the Premier League and even, to be honest, in non-league. And you sort of look at it and you think they're more of a left wing back than a left back. But Reguilon's perfect for Tottenham because he is, he's great at defending. He's sort of more of an old-fashioned left back with a modern twist, isn't he? From what I've seen.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, when you look at fullbacks now, it's how good can they attack, as well as how good can they defend. But as much as he looks to get forward, and obviously he's got an assist already, he assisted Bale in his goal against, I think, Brighton. He very much focuses on defending and only comes forward when he really has to, or if he knows it's comfortable at the back. But yeah, he's very defensive minded, which is what you look for in a fullback. Compared with Doherty, who is on the other side, he's very much an attacking fullback and struggles to defend. So you can obviously see where the contrast lays with their two styles.
I was about to ask you this. Who do you think's the better right back at Spurs, Aurier or Doherty?
Right now, it's got to be Aurier, which I thought I'd never say because last season Aurier scared me a lot because the way he goes into challenges, you just think. I mean, you saw it against Leicester, the mistake he made where he gave the penalty away. That was the old Aurier, and that's what we saw a lot of last season. So bringing in competition has really helped Aurier, and I think right now he is first choice, and you'll see him. I think you'll see him playing a lot more than Matt Doherty for that reason, because obviously it's been a slow start for Doherty, and we just have to see where it goes.
What do you make of Spurs this season so far, Aaron?
I mean, I would prefer us to be back at the top of the table. I was enjoying that while it lasted, but I was never under illusion. I knew we weren't ever going to win the Premier League, but to be there for a long time was good. I enjoyed it because obviously, how often can you say your side's been top of the Premier League for about 4 weeks? But it's a very tight league this year. And I think even down to 9th can still jump up to top 4 with one game. So I'm pleased so far for where we are, but I know there's a lot of work to do, and I just hope we can either challenge for the Premier League. I'm not saying we're going to win it, but I'd like to obviously have a proper challenge, or even as long as we get top 4, I think I'd be happy with that.
Do you see anybody that can stop you from getting into that top 4?
Yeah, I think there's a few this season. Obviously, minus the likes of Man City and Liverpool. You got Aston Villa up there, Southampton up there. I mean, even West Ham were up there for a bit. So I think it's any team's chance now to really break into that top 6. So there's a few teams I'm hoping don't get the results. I know obviously you got the likes of Leicester and stuff like that, but it's too close to tell at the moment. I don't think we'll know who's really going to finish in the top 4 till possibly the last few weekends of the season if it carries on the way it is.
It's funny you mention West Ham, Aaron, and sort of in that top 4 race, because I've been speaking to a lot of my mates about how well we've been doing. I'm obviously very happy as a West Ham fan. I'm somebody that's always believed in David Moyes, so I'm happy it's worked out for him. But when I'm describing to my mates, saying all we've got to do is put a run of results together and we could be in that Champions League hunt, and they sort of look at me and as if I'm crazy. And I go, well, no, you look at our run now. I think we've got Burnley, Crystal Palace, and West Brom at our next 3 games. Win all 3 of them. That's 9 points. 9 points in the way the league's going can get you, from 10th to about 4th or 3rd. So, it's been a real crazy season, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the case with any team, though. Even if you're right at the bottom, I think if you put a run of 4 games together, you can really jump. Yeah, obviously Arsenal were 15th for a long time. They win 2 games and all of a sudden they're closing in on the top half of the table. So I think to sort of disregard anyone at this stage would be foolish because it's all to play for. I think even Sheffield United, a few games and a few wins under their belt could really kickstart the season. They could obviously be safe. Right now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Obviously, they're only on 2 points, but with this season, you never know what's going to happen. Obviously, what we're seeing right now is people having games in hand, so that could also affect the way the table is going to look. Because obviously, people later on will have more games to play than others.
Before I go on to the Jose effect again, I think I know the answer to this, Aaron, but with the way Arsenal are playing lately with Mikel Arteta, do you see any way Mikel Arteta could finish above Mourinho this year?
I like to think not. But as I said, it will be foolish of me to disregard them right now because obviously everything could change. They could win 5 games in a row. We could lose 5 in a row. And then I think they would literally be. I think they're only 6 points behind us now. We've got a game or so in hand on them. But as I said, if they put a run together and we go on a losing streak, they can overtake us. So I like to think that they won't finish above us because we've been top for a lot of this season. So I'd like to think we'll finish above them, and I'd like to think they're closer to relegation. But we just have to see how the season goes. But as I said, I really hope we manage to finish above them again.
Back to the Jose effect now, Aaron. Are the fans starting to believe in Jose, do you feel?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we're in our first final this year, and just by looking at Twitter, you can see how excited people are. And this is the first time we're going to go into a cup final where we believe we can actually win it. We're not just there, to take part. Which for the Champions League final, I think it was more nerves than excitement, but this is definitely more excitement. And then obviously, where we are in the Premier League, I think people are excited for what could happen. But yeah, we just have to see. But fans are definitely buying into Jose's cause and are definitely very supportive of what he's trying to do.
When we look at the League Cup final, you've got Manchester City. It's the old classic final, or I remember when it was a big rivalry in El Clasico, Mourinho v Guardiola. How do you feel in terms of confidence in belief? Do you believe Jose can beat Guardiola's Man City in what is, so far, their competition, really, in recent years?
Yeah, I mean, I hope I don't eat my words, but I think we're going to win it. Personally, wow. Mourinho's already beaten Pep twice. Obviously, it was at our ground, but yeah, I'm confident we can go there and go to Wembley and pick up that trophy. Because obviously Guardiola is very attacking. Jose is very defensive, and when we played them early in the season, they left a lot of gaps, and that's how we were able to beat them because we exploited their gaps. So I think if they both play how they did in the Premier League, I think we win it. And I can't see Guardiola going very defensive. So it's about how Mourinho sets up and the tactic he employed. But yeah, I'm very confident that this could be our first trophy in 13 years.
If you do get that first trophy in 13 years, what do you think it does to the football club?
Well, the jokes about not winning the trophy will stop, I think. I think it will prove that Levy was right to bring Jose in, even so early on in the season. On Twitter there was a debate about whether winning this trophy would mean Mourinho eclipsed Poch, and I couldn't even see the debate. Pochettino, he got us to the Champions League final, but he didn't win a trophy, and that's what we want to see. We don't always want to be the bridesmaid in cup competitions. So I think, it definitely proved Levy right in spending the money to get rid of Poch and obviously bringing in bringing in Mourinho, sorry. So I think it'll really boost the club. And obviously it will be the first trophy of the season, even though it's delayed. So then obviously we are in other competitions. We can build on that and hopefully win more than one. But I'll be happy with one this season.
If I was to ask you at the start of the season, and you're not knowing at the start of the season you're going to be in the League Cup final, if I was to ask you whether you would find winning the League Cup or reaching the UEFA Champions League final, which one would you choose?
Well, I mean, if it's reaching the Champions League final and not winning, compared to winning an actual trophy, then
you don't know the result. Let's just put it like that.
Oh, well, that's a difficult one because obviously everyone wants to win the Champions League. We've been there and we've lost it, and it's one of the worst feelings you'll ever get because we had lost it within the first few seconds of the game due to the penalty. Bizarrely, with that game, I can't remember anything past the penalty.
Wow.
So when you watch the game back, you forget how many good chances we had to win that, and how close we were to actually getting a result. But like many, once a penalty was given and it was scored, I can't remember anything really past that. So obviously, I would love to win the Champions League, but if winning the League Cup was a guarantee compared to not knowing whether we would win the Champions League, I would definitely take the trophy. Because obviously that's what we want to see. We want to see our team win. We don't really want to see our team get to the final and lose. No one wants that.
Well, I think I know the answer to this question now, and that was sort of there as a trip hurdle for you. However, circumstances are important in football at certain times. So if Mourinho was to win the League Cup, which one would you say would be more of a success? Poch reaching the final of the Champions League under the circumstances he was put with, or Mourinho winning the League Cup this season?
I'd go with Mourinho winning the cup because when you look back at the circumstances of how we reached the Champions League final, there was a lot of luck.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the group stage. After 3 games, we had 2 points, and we needed to beat both Inter Milan and PSV to even stand a chance of going through. I was at them games at Wembley. And the nervousness around the ground, knowing we needed to win. A draw wasn't not good enough. Was obviously nerve-wracking and obviously we managed to do it somehow. And then you look at the knockout stages, and we had a lot of help from VAR. Obviously, the Man City game is one of those where we lost it. Well, we thought we had lost it in the 90th minute with Sterling scoring. Thankfully, it was ruled off. Obviously, you had the Llorente hip goal, which could have been ruled out because they were trying to decide whether it hit his hand or not. And then the semi-final, you look at the Ajax game, and we scored 96th minute with seconds to go. So I'll definitely take the League Cup over, going through all that again with Pochettino.
If I was to ask you your perfect Spurs Jose season this year and your predictions for it, what would it be?
The perfect season, I would say, would be winning the League Cup, finishing the top 4, and possibly doing well in the Europa League. Not necessarily winning it, because that would be a big ask to win more than one trophy. And obviously, a lot of the Champions League teams are in it now. So it'll be difficult to see who we get. But I think at least one trophy, being a League Cup, a place in the top 4, and a good run in the Europa League, I think would be a perfect season for us under Mourinho.
Who do you think's been your standout player so far this season?
It's got to be Sonny, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, everyone expects Kane to be scoring all the goals. But right now, every time Son runs through, you just know he's going to score. He's an absolute animal, and from when he first signed, I didn't have a clue who he was. He signed from Bayer Leverkusen, I think. He was just a kid, I guess, at that time, and no one expected him to do what he's done. And he could very well be the top scorer this season. Obviously, Kane's playing a more assisting role rather than goal scoring. So I think Sonny has definitely been our standout player this season.
Has he signed a new contract, Aaron, recently? He has, hasn't he? Or...
No, he's in talks. We're trying to get him signed, along with Harry Kane as well. Obviously, with the current situation, I think they're delaying it, but I really hope he signs a new contract. He seems happy at Spurs. He's made that clear multiple times. But yeah, I think everyone will be after him. So the quicker we sign a contract with him, the better.
Okay, then, as he hasn't signed a new contract, so I'll ask the question I was going to ask now, I'm sure, on the circumstances. If you don't win a trophy this year, but you finish in the top 4, do you think, and obviously the circumstances with the coronavirus change and we're back to hopefully a sense of normality, do you see Song staying at Spurs?
Yeah, I think so. It'll be disappointing not to win a trophy this season. But I don't think not winning a trophy in one season under Mourinho will scare a lot of players off. I think a lot of players will give them at least 2 full seasons before they consider their future. Obviously, a lot of them have gone 5 years with Poch without a trophy. So I don't think they'll be quick to disregard Mourinho in that sense. But obviously it'll be very disappointing if we come out of this season with just a place in the top 4. It'll be good because obviously it's really tight. But we'll want to win a trophy. It's been 13 years. I remember the last time we won it. Very clear, and I think it's time we win another one.
Okay, my final question is again one I think I know your answer to. When we're in a league where people regard Bruno Fernandes as world class, do you think Heung-min Son is world class? Because that's been debated a lot recently.
Yeah, I don't see how you can't. I mean, Bruno Fernandes gets a lot of goals because he scores a lot of penalties. Would he be considered world class if he didn't score as many penalties? I don't know, but Son is, I think, definitely world class. You just look at how he's grown over the last few years. As I said, no one knew who he was, or very little people, shall I say, knew who he was when he first signed. So to now be a player that everyone's going to be after, and a player that's very, very much the first name on the team sheet nowadays, is incredible. And I think if you don't consider him world class, are you even a fan of football, or even are you watching the game properly? Because as I said before, every time he runs through on goal, you know he's going to score.
Yeah.
Which with a lot of players you don't get. If you look at some of our other players, you look at Sissoko. Obviously, he scored in the semi-final, which was a shock. But when he runs through, you don't expect him to score. Kane, most of the time you expect him to score, but with Sonny, it seems like every time he runs through, you can probably bet your house that he'll put that in the back of the net and be wheeling away in celebration.
Okay, thank you for joining me on the newly launched RL podcast today, Aaron, for our talk on the Jose effect. The aim for this RL podcast is to cover every division of English football, from non-league Step 7 to the massive scene of the Premier League. Again, thanks for joining me today, Aaron, and I hope you enjoyed being on the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to chatting to you some more about different leagues. And obviously, the further we get on non-league, I think that's where our passion will really show in our chats.
Yes, me and Aaron are going to do a non-league podcast. I think we're going to record it every Monday, hopefully, or every couple of Mondays, and really launch the non-league scene and promote it in a positive aspect. So thanks for watching, and we will